your project of doing the value scale? Were there any issues, any horror stories? When you did the blend, did it turn into anything weird? No? Piece of cake? So we're good to go. Okay. Okay. So today's assignment is going to start off with a discussion. And what I want to do is discuss with you, first of all, I want to ask you, what is the meaning of the word concept? What is a concept?
An idea.
An idea, yeah. All artists, all designers create, develop, design with a concept in mind. What is the idea behind the piece that we're doing? And so we're going to talk about a concept today. I'm going to give you a concept in just a little bit. And what I want to do is I want you to give me visual ideas that fill that concept. And we're going to explore this concept into visual ideas and visual practices, okay? So the concept that I want to explore with you visually is the concept of coming and going. Coming and going. Who can give me examples of coming and going, of what coming and going is to you? Anything at all. No such thing as a bad answer, stupid answer. What do you think? Oh, you're expecting it.
Like you're leaving your house, you're going somewhere.
Excuse me?
Like you're going somewhere.
Going somewhere, right. I live 45 minutes south from here, and I come to school and I go from school. And as a matter of fact, I travel on 231 every morning, and there are always people that are coming from Troy, and we pass each other. Now, I'm going to be doing physical gestures because I'm also talking about space. I'm talking about over there, over here, meeting in the middle, and then passing by. That's coming and going. What else? Another example.
Like a store.
Sorry?
Like a store.
A store.
You're coming in.
Yeah, in stores we go in, we go out. Also, when we go through the door, it goes bing bong, right? Sometimes. When we go into the store, sometimes we have to stop to let the doors open. Then we go in, and people also do the same thing. The doors open, they go out. There's a bing bong. There's all this sort of activity and sound happening. What else? Yes?
An airport.
Sorry?
An airport.
An airport. What's really interesting about an airport is that jets take off and they go in this direction. They're going fairly fast, and then after they take off this way too, and they also land this way. And if I'm standing on the runway, and I don't know, not on the runway, but like that field where the fence is, where they're coming in, like if I stand there and they're taking off and you see them way over there, and they're coming, and they go right over your head, right? That's a really incredible sensation to feel that. And to see it way over there, it feels like it's going slow, but once it gets over your head, it just really just sort of, boom, it hits you, right? What else?
Me?
Yeah,
Um,
you look like you were hiding and I didn't want you to hide.
no.
Go ahead.
I go home to Panama City almost every single weekend.
Excuse me?
I go home to Panama City almost every single weekend. So
Really? How come?
my family and my
It's
boyfriend.
Panama City. Who wants to be here when we can be in Panama City, right?
Yeah.
What do you do in Panama City?
I'm from Panama City.
I know. What do you do there?
I spend
What do you
time.
like to do?
I spend time with my sister and my boyfriend.
Okay. And where do you hang out?
We have a Sonic. I have a dog at my boyfriend's house, so I hang out mostly there.
Okay. Can we be a little bit more abstract? Let me give you an example. If I were to go visit you, I would want to go to the beach. And if I go to the Gulf, I notice that the waves, depending on the current, will either be it goes in and it goes out, and it goes in and it goes out. Sometimes when it's really, when they're big waves, they'll come in, they'll crash in, and they'll crash out. So there's this movement of coming, and it's also depending on the time of the day, the way the current comes in and the pace it comes in is very different. Also think about water, that if I go on a boat and I'm on the, in that, in the Gulf, that on a windy day, I might be, doing this where the water goes in and out and up and down and up. But on a somber day, it would be very smooth and maybe that kind of walking, right? Give me one more example. Yes, sir.
I guess feelings can come in.
I'm sorry?
Like feelings can come in.
Stealing,
Feelings.
ceiling,
Feelings.
Feelings.
feeling depressed and feeling happy, right? Depressed and happy. Happy, we're sort of alive, we want to move around, we want to dance, we want to do all these sort of movements, but depressed, we want to just sort of cuddle, we want to ball up, right? Head down, quiet, don't want to be disturbed, don't need music, lethargic. Yeah, that's a very good one. Okay, so for your homework, and make sure you can see this board. You are going to, your art board is going to be set up 10 inches by 10 inches. And you're going to tell it to create. Oh, and then your color palette for now, RGB, create. What kind of computer do you have?
Just a Apple. It's got one button.
How much electricity, how much battery juice do you have on it?
9. Do you need it?
I've got 20. No. I might in just a little bit. If I reach, actually, somebody, 25. Somebody watch my battery. Sir,
I have an extra.
do you have one? Can I borrow it, please? Oh, thank you so much. Don't let me forget, okay? All right. I should have turned it off between classes and I forgot to. Hold on. Really? Sergeant? Yes, sir. Yay, thank you so much. Okay, so the art board, 10 inches by 10 inches, and we are, palettes that we're gonna use is gonna be grayscale, we're not gonna use color. So we don't know about color yet. And then, if you know this already, bear with me, I like being as thorough as I can. If I do Command R, my rulers come up, okay? And the reason why I would need my rulers is because I want to be able to put guides. If I click on a ruler and move a guide, I could put guides in to my, onto my artboard. And you're gonna need guides for this. And the guides, this corner, the y-axis and the x-axis and y-axis need to align perfectly to 0, 0 on your ruler. If they don't, I don't know if you know this, but if you click on your corner or your ruler right here, it turns into a crosshair. And if you put that crosshair right exactly at that corner, you get a perfect alignment of 0, 0, okay? So what I need you to do is, I'm gonna zoom up because I need to see these numbers pretty crisply. Click on, and I want you to put guides at every inch mark that you have. I didn't do that perfectly. It has to be perfect. And I didn't do, I'm doing this real quick, so, and my glasses are fogging up, so just bear with me. Just make sure that they're all, you do guides all the way to 10, and then across, and then you want to do guides 2 inches there, and then I'm not going to do all of these, 3 inches there, and then 4 inches there, and so, and you keep going. So you're going to divide your artboard into 10 squares across, 10 squares down, okay? 1 inch by 1 inch exact. Got it? Okay? What you're going to do is you're going to fill your grid with different values. You're going to use a value palette. And by the way, your value scale, how many, on the value scale, how many possibilities do we have in the value scale?
100.
100. How many squares do we have? 100, okay? Do you have to use 100 values on 100? No, you don't. And I'll get into that a little bit further, okay? So the way to do this is to select your tool, your square tool, make a square that fits in your guide, stroke it none, and you designate a value in grayscale for it, okay? Here's a value. And then you're going to do the same thing with the next square. And whoa, look at how far off this is. It's terrible. I don't want my guides. Do you see how I'm off with my number 1 here? I should have done it bigger. Guides, I need to unlock my guides so I could adjust it. But you need to work perfectly with this, okay? Okay, so, and then I'm gonna give it another value, and so on. So you're gonna fill up the 100 square board with different values. And you don't have to use all 100 values. As a matter of fact, what I'd like to do is talk to you about throwing a party. Your artboard is the venue. The guests that you are considering are values 0 to 100. In this banquet, you have 100 seats, and you can choose who to invite. So maybe I just want to invite the high keys to this party, and maybe just to mix it up, I may add a couple of low keys to the party, okay? Everybody else is excluded out. Maybe I want to be everybody's friend, and I want to use all 100 people, and everybody has their own seat. That's fine, okay? In doing this, you need to maintain the integrity of the grid. And I'm going to write this down for you because, so the first thing is that this composition is called coming and going. Your artboard is 10 by 10 by 10 inches. Your palette is grayscale. C-A-L-E. You must maintain the integrity of the grid. And I'll explain to you what I mean by that right now. So I've got 2 values here, and I'm going to make another. I'm going to fill in 4 squares here, and I'm filling them in with values. I'm not filling them in with color, and it's somewhat arbitrary right now, which is okay for now, okay? And I have maintained the integrity of the grid. I can still see my grid. If I want to add to this, you can add more shapes onto it, provided that you use the shapes within the shapes. And you could make them different values as well if you want. See what I'm doing? And if you want to change the size of it, you're welcome to do that. But I'm still maintaining the integrity of the grid, okay? When you're not maintaining the integrity of the grid is when you do something like this. And the reason why I say that does not maintain the integrity of the grid is because all this is a circle on top of my grid. It's on top. I need it integrated into the grid, okay? And so if it were integrated into the grid, I might divide it up and give each quadrant in that grid its own value. Got it? That maintains the integrity of the grid. But if it's just a shape on top of it, that does not maintain the integrity of the grid. So, your composition, the entire composition, is abstract, and it must convey the concept of coming and going. Okay? You cannot use any kind of illustration. I don't want pictures of sunshines and, moving up and moving down, sunsets and little girls going up a hill and going. I don't want illustrations. I don't want symbols. I don't need arrows. I want straight abstract shapes. Okay? How you approach this? You could be methodical and start off with 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, up to you, or 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, or, 30, 60, 80, 20, 40, 30, 20. Don't care. It's up to you, because I want to see how you think, how you strategize, okay? Let me also share something else with you. What if I took these 4 squares and made them all the same value? Am I cheating? Is that maintaining the integrity of the square? Yes, absolutely. So you could repeat. I didn't say do not repeat it. You can do whatever you want. This is your banquet. And if you want only 10s to come to this banquet, how do all those 10s make coming and going happen? Yes, sir.
So my question is, other than the fact that we have 100 squares to fill out, is that the only thing that's objective about this assignment? So we have to fill all 100 out, but
You have to fill this
anything
entire board.
inside the squares is our own
Sure.
subjective idea, kind of.
Sure, but you're going to have to defend it. Well, it's going to have to defend itself, and I'll get into that in just a little bit, okay? So once you've created this entire composition, that's when you stand back or get your roommate or your mom or your best friend and say, does this say coming and going to you? And they're going to go, dude, what do you want? I don't know. This is stupid. Anybody can do this, and you're going to be really mad. But then you've got to stand back, or maybe you'll take a screenshot and you'll say, okay, but when you take a screenshot, make sure that you don't show the grid lines. Make sure you go to window and go to view and guides and hide guides so you can see what it looks like. Okay? And you can take a screenshot of it and go like, classmates, what do you think does this say coming and going to you? Sometimes I've had students that are so unsure, they'll do 2 or 4 of these different compositions, and they will post them. And again, I'm reading everything. And what's so interesting is that the class will say, well, I like 1. Somebody will say, I like 1. Several people will say, I like 3 better. And the majority will say, I like 4. And then you turn in 4, and I'm going to go I saw that conversation, and when I was watching it, I saw 1, and I just thought it was brilliant. Why did you select 4? And you're going to go, because all my classmates told me to. And I'm going to go, don't listen to your classmates. Go with your gut, And you're going to go, I knew I should have, but I just wasn't sure. So I'm going to be there. I'm going to be looking. I'm going to be listening. I'm going to be reading. I'm going to be preparing. And I'm going to be watching, okay? Once you have your composition done, and that's what you want to turn in, I want you, first of all, save it as an AI file, native file, and then save it as a low-res PDF, and you turn in your low-res PDF. The Canvas deposit will close at 10 o'clock on Monday, okay? 10 o'clock on Monday, I'll be in here, I'm gonna upload all of your files, and you're gonna have your first critique. And I gotta warn you about the first critique. I need you to come prepared, wear your thick-skinned suits. It's your first critique with me. I can be a little brutal, I am very honest. I want to set some ground rules. I am your art director. Whether you agree with me or not, I don't really care. I don't care to get into arguments with you about how you feel about your work. It's how I respond to your work. And you will respect that, and you will respect the grade that I give you. There will be no challenging of the teacher or of the grade. If you're not comfortable, if you're not feeling great with the critique that you got, listen to the critiques of other people. Look at their work, listen to what I'm saying, and see how it relates to your work. But get that chip off your shoulder that says, but mine was better than his, and I don't do that. I'm looking for and so when the work comes up, I might go, if it's an obvious win for me, I'm gonna go, who is this? What were you thinking? Yes, I agree, this is terrific. Or I might go, oh my God, this is a train wreck. I don't wanna know who this is. I'll tell you what, it's a train wreck. Please pay attention to others, okay? Half of you right now are going to show me what you want. I want to see an example of what you want, because I want to be a good student, get a good grade. And that's the whole point of this class, is it's not about the grade, it's about your process. It's about your strategy. It's about your making decisions, and it's about your being able to justify work that you do. Everything has a purpose. Everything has a meaning, and your intent has got to be clear with you in what you're doing, okay? If it was like, Ed, I had no idea what I was doing, I just arbitrarily put stuff on there, and I'll go like, you need to have more of a strategy. Let me also make something clear. With all of my homework assignments, never in class walk out the door and start banging on a computer key to start it. Projects like this need to be absorbed up here first. You need at least 24 hours to think of the concept, think of the approach, think of the palette, have a plan, have an idea, then go to Illustrator and put it together, okay? You cannot do this in an hour. If you do, you're missing out. There's another thing that I want to point out to you. When you are ready, your AI file is good, it looks perfect, all of your shapes are in there, save the PDF, make sure you review that PDF. Because I guarantee you what you're going to see in the PDF, and it'll be a little bit more obvious. There it is. Shoot, hold on. Something like this. White spaces. You see that? And look at how horribly sloppy this is here, okay? So when you have white sliver spaces, and I guarantee you in InDesign, you're going to see them vividly. What I need you to do, don't panic. All I need you to do is take that shape and overlap it just a little, and then send it to the back, so that you have a perfect, what's called a perfect track. Overlap it, okay? You will also be graded on craftsmanship. If your squares do not align and it looks all jumpy, that's terrible. You're working with a computer. Because it's technology, it should be perfect, okay? You're just not zooming in and looking at the details close enough. There we go. There's another one there. So I want to make sure that you pay close attention to the details. Okay? What else? Questions? Yes?
So we can use other shapes, they just.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that. Yes, you can use other shapes, except. So glad. Thank you for reminding me. Number one rule in this class is don't ever use the polygon, the star, or the flare tool in any of my compositions, because they're stupid tools. They teach them at that stupid design program at AUM, and you're not stupid people. You're in my program and you do not use those tools. Is that clear? You are not to use gradients at all in this either. It's straight value swatch. You can use shapes on top of the shapes so long as you maintain the integrity of the grid. Okay? They could scale different sizes, keep it simple. How does, and I want to share a couple of things with you that are going to be pivotal to this. This is very important. I love subtlety. I love subtlety. I love that idea of coming and going when they're way over there and I'm way over here, and we get right to that point where we meet and it's just, we blend in together, and then we go our separate ways. I love subtlety. Okay? It's different from a science class, right? Because it's subjective. What the hell does he want? Yeah. I have to think, damn it, I have to think. You have to think, you have to strategize. Ask me more questions. No questions. Sir?
So just to be sure, like, so we don't have to use like all
100 values?
Yeah.
You do not.
Okay.
You could if you want, but you do not have to. What else? Yes?
What was the other shape of the polygons and stars you said?
And the flare tool, I don't even know what the flare tool is. Don't use it though, it's evil. You're going to hell for using it. Yep. What else? Nothing else? No, sorry.
Just make sure, you said we can't overlap shapes, just.
A little, just to make sure that you have a clean track. But look at how these two, look at the details. Look at how these two, I'm gonna go even bigger. That's really sloppy work. You see this? That's horrible, okay? They need to be perfectly aligned, perfectly square, okay? Anything else? I feel like I'm forgetting something.
I'm trying to think of it. In the way that we're doing this, you know, we're doing coming and going.
Yeah.
Since it is subjective, you know, we're filling out 100 squares
Yes.
with whatever values we want, and then we're filling the squares with shapes
If you
inside.
choose to, you don't have to.
So it's like making the background.
There is no background,
Essentially.
it's all one composition.
Yeah.
When you say background, I have to assume that there's an implied foreground too.
Well, the foreground would be the shapes inside the shapes.
Possibly, or, you know, when you look at values, actually I'll give you guys, and I'll put this on Facebook because I did not share this with the class earlier, but you should know, we're gonna learn that the darker values recede and lighter values advance,
Okay.
okay? Middle values go nowhere, okay? That might help, yes.
Could we use the line tool to create other simplified shapes like a triangle or?
Sure, sure. Keep it geometric, keep it abstract, just don't try to make pictures, or use words, or make illustrations, or symbols. Like a lot of times people want to use, oh, I also forgot. Most important thing too, said this before, saying it again. Design, don't decorate. There's a big difference. This is a design, I'm not looking for decorations. So, the rule of thumb would be if your grandma sees this and says, how lovely is that? I would love to make a quilt out of that, or I'd love to hang that in my house. That's decoration, kill it, do something else. If grandma likes it, I probably won't like it, because it's purdy, P-U-R-D-Y. Yes?
Does the file need to be named anything specific?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you want the file named anything specific?
Yes, come go, last name, AI, and then PDF. Or coming and going, AI, PDF, last name. Yes, sir.
What size PDF? Small size,
Small
regular?
size, always turn in small size to Canvas so that I could open it up quickly.
Okay.
Okay? Anything else? Yes,
Is this going to be due, Friday or?
Monday.
Monday, okay.
Monday. I need you to have the weekend to do this. I need you to have the weekend to absorb this. I need you to have the weekend, and I'm gonna make a prediction. This is a 3 crier. 3 people will cry. There's a 3 cry factor. 3 people will cry for this project. That's okay. You should cry for your work. 1 person might be a male. Anything else? So, it's all about decision making. It's all about you're standing up and you're having a clear understanding of something that isn't very clear to you. Okay? Anything else? You guys look like, is anybody nervous about this? Good. Not good.
I've learned not to be nervous about things, just do it.
Okay, all right. But I do like when people are nervous because they're gonna really be mindful. If you take it for granted that you could just slap it together, we'll see what happens.
More to the fact, I'm not nervous yet. I will be when I start working on it.
Just give it some thought. Give it a lot of thought. Have a strategy, have a plan, and allow it to speak for itself. Okay? Good. Anything else? You okay? You okay? You want to say goodbye? All right, have a good weekend.